Update. Today is Thursday, June 13th, 2024. I went to a urology appointment today. Now I'm hoping for further testing. I got my wish. But there's a little complication, and once again, it has to do with my father's and mother's choices and the neurological disorder. So this is what I'm requesting is they're going to put a camera up my pee-pee. They're going to look at my kidneys. They found a cyst on there. They might take a biopsy of the cyst, and I would prefer a biopsy of the cyst. And a couple other things. There's 4 different things they're going to do well inside of me. So I went today knowing that we were going to plan to do this. They were going to do it all with no anesthesia, which I told them that is fine with me. I'm not a wimp when it comes to pain. Trust me, I've frozen to death. I mean, that's not something that people usually can take. But so I got to ask you a question, Doc. Would me shaking on the table and not staying still affect your ability to get these things? He said, yes, you got to stay absolutely still. I go, okay. Well, that's a problem. When people draw blood, when they affect my nervous system with flashing lights, it affects my neurological disorder. My arms, leg, back, body, every part of me shakes. And if it goes too far, I have a full-blown seizure. Now, the doctors in Lowell caught one of them with witnesses, but we've had very little reporting of these seizures. Again, mother and father. Who reported my seizure in New Mexico? Nobody. I was left by myself out in the woods. Okay, how about the one on the bike that I'm not 100% sure, but all the symptoms match from the diagnosis seizures? Nobody was there. During my childhood, I had little to no healthcare supervision. It just wasn't. I was just moved from state to state to state to state. But we know now from the reports and from 25 years of documentation that this is definitely a neurological disorder that definitely started with a overdose or a mixture of medications that my mother admitted at the doctor's office that she gave me, and she tried to cover it up by calling it an allergy attack. We know it started then because I was even sucking on my skin trying to feel what the difference was. Also, we had teachers calling me in the hallway asking me right after the overdose, has there anything happened at home? We also got doctors hearing about it. We also got them starting physical therapy and speech therapy only right after the overdose. Before, I was doing fantastic, coming first in the swim class. I was doing pretty good. I wasn't great at wiffle ball or any of the baseball stuff, but I had full control of my body. And if I practiced baseball, I would have became good as long as I didn't have the overdose, which I did have. I had a crazy mother that liked to do things like this. Like she got me heavily medicated by stealing my swimming medal away and coming up with fantasies at the doctor's office, making me cry as a child. I'm only like 6, 7 years old, giving me pills for my own adoption party, making me lethargic and sleepy, just one thing after another that's illegal, messing around with pills that she's not supposed to be messing around with, and violating the human rights and her son's body, destroying her son's health, and having a narrative to push afterwards. It's just terrible, terrible stuff. Well, how does that affect me at age 31? What the fuck does that have to do with this? Well, we can't do this biopsy with me shaking. So, they are going to put me under at Wentworth Douglas Hospital on 6/27/24. They're going to put the camera into me. They're going to do the biopsy. They're going to do everything else that they got to do. And hopefully we get some more answers about the cyst and the kidneys and the black urine and all that. But I've also been malpracticed several times by different hospitals, including the one that will be putting me under. I've had several doctors purposely destroy my health. I've had doctors overprescribe. Like, for instance, I went to a doctor's office for 3 years in Chelmsford called Brillswell Counseling. The only complaint that I ever had, other than side effects, where I had lots of complaints of hangovers, headaches, things like that, but I did complain that I couldn't sleep. I had ADHD and I can't sleep and I got anxiety during the day, but my anxiety is under control. I'm on Ritalin for the ADHD. But why I listen to my doctor, I listen to my mother. Now, what does my mother and doctor say to do? They tell me to take 800 milligrams of Seroquel, Thorazine, Trazodone, Lamictal, Risperidone, and a bunch of other medications. And all I'm doing is complaining that I need something for sleep. Why would they ever prescribe that many medications just for somebody who can't sleep because he's been on too many medications in his lifetime? Why would that be the case? Because my mother is calling the doctor saying that everything is some mental illness. Me bumping in the furniture is self harming. Me being on downers all the time must be depression. My mother giving me depressants must make me depressed, and that means I'm always depressed. I'm bipolar because I'm always hyper. I have ADHD. Then they give me downers and I go down. Then the downers wear off and I go back up. Then I take more downers and I'm back down. So because of some of this up and down, and because I'm lethargic first thing in the morning with hangovers from the medicine, this is large doses of Thorazine, Trazodone, Seroquel. This is ridiculous doses of Seroquel, 600 to 800 for most of my childhood. That's ridiculous. Well, I should say from age 14 to 20, ridiculous doses of these meds. And all I'm doing is saying that I'm having trouble sleeping. And even as they go up and up on these meds, I'm still having trouble sleeping. I'm tired. I could sleep, but I wake up with my heart pounding, vomiting, can't stand up, can't use the bathroom, severe headache, feeling a fear, feeling like I might die. And I tell the doctor these side effects, and he continues to add on medicines and give me more. As my mother calls and says, give him more pills, give him more pills. I want him on this pill. I want him on schizophrenic pills. I want him on this pill. I want him on this pill. I want him on this pill. I want him on more pills. So my mother spent all of her time in Westford doing this. Then she moves me to Texas when she's getting into trouble. Then when I start speaking about the overdose and my neurological disorder, she moves me to New Mexico with no health care, no teachers, no real childhood stuff that I need, none of the things that a child needs. Moves me to Maine, still no doctors, no teachers. Then we move to Chelmsford and my mother doubles down on getting me drugged seriously. Now, what caused my neurological disorder at age 7? Why did it start at age 7? Well, if you Google neurological disorders caused by childhood overdoses or use of medication, it very clearly shows everything that is wrong with me. It's very simple to understand. I've spent 25 years looking into this, and I know bumping in the furniture on accident because your leg spasmed is not called self harming. It's called a leg spasm from an uncontrollable electrical impulse coming from the nervous system. That's what they call that. But my mother was misleading the doctors. I would have some type of illness and she would bring me to psychiatrists for physical illnesses. That's wrong. If I experience an overdose, I'm having problem moving my legs and arms, a psychiatrist is not the person to bring me to, but my mother loved doing that. Every single physical illness, upset stomach, vomiting. I jump in a pool and need stitches. I bump in the furniture. All of it my mother wanted me to be on drugs for. Okay, so that's the cause of the neurological disorder. What are the symptoms? Well, when I'm being touched, or if I have to draw blood, or if I have to use a needle, or if I am walking, or if I have something rubbing on me, or if there's flashing lights, or if there's cold, or weird trigger noises that trigger seizures, or flashing lights, or stuff or pushing my nervous system too far. Like talking is also a part of my nervous system. If I do these things, then I shake, I go unconscious and have a full-blown seizure. I wake up with severe head injuries. That's another problem. I've had more seizures, more activity from my last seizure. I had a seizure where I had severe head injuries. When I woke up, my condition was worse for the rest of my life still today. Now, that was a couple years ago. So, the doctors know this. They're working it out. I'm going into Wentworth Douglas, 627. They're going to put me under. They're going to they're going to put a big thing up my penis. They're going to take a sample or a biopsy and stuff like that. But just for the record, if I don't come out with all my organs, if they cut my kidney in half and I need dialysis for the rest of my life, I am going to kill everybody involved. I don't care if I signed a release. If you malpractice me on purpose, I'm not going to put up with it. If you are just doing a regular routine biopsy, fine. That's not hard. There's no reason for me to go into this biopsy and come out with my organs fucked up on the inside. But that is one of my fears. I do have a fear that these doctors are going to purposely make me worse because my case is a very hard one. There's a lot of doctors involved that are going to be in trouble. You got a mother who did horrible things. You got a hard case that needs to be solved that the taxpayers are paying for. And as far as anybody's concerned, my father's calling me a shithead, saying it's all made up. So let's just execute this kid. Let's give him real pain for the rest of his life. This kid wants to make up stories. Let's really just cut his kidney in half and make sure his kidneys never work again. So there's a very good chance I'm going to come out of this malpracticed horribly. I don't have any other choice. My father has made it so I have to do this. I have to live in the woods and I have to get malpractice for the rest of my life, or my father could just walk in someplace and tell the truth with me. I mean, there's records. I could help him. It's not that hard. Even if he doesn't remember a goddamn thing, well, there's records we could drive through. Well, there's other people in the family. Let's go talk to Valerie, your daughter. She was a witness to your wife saying that she thought it was okay to drug me. I got paperwork for you. I can show you what the medical journals tell you about those medications you gave me at age 7 and what would happen if they were improperly administered. And don't forget, I can also remind you about some of the offices you sat in. Like, for instance, me, my father, and mother went to a doctor at age 7. The doctor asked me if there was anything wrong. I told them about the neurological disorder. I told them about the meds. I told them about how I went unconscious. I lost all my senses. I couldn't feel, couldn't see out of my eyeballs, couldn't walk, and I was never the same afterwards. And he looked at my mother, and my mother goes, "Yeah, I gave him some medication, and it's just an allergy attack." Then the doctor goes, "Well, what medications were those?" "Oh, it's not important. You don't need to pay any attention. I don't remember. It's not." And then passes. Next thing I know, I'm in Texas. So, yes, this is very obvious and very easy to understand if they just speak to me. We go through records, stuff like that. You can tell it's not bullshit. I mean, everybody. I mean, especially with so many witnesses, family members, and moves. I mean, if you kept me in one place my whole life, then you could go, "Wow, you've had the same doctor for 20 years. But how does he know?" But that's not the case for me. I wasn't allowed to see any physical neurologist or anybody from my coordination. I was allowed to see a ballet instructor and be moved across the country because my mother wanted to take evasive action. Anytime any doctors got close to helping me, my mother would spout every mental illness in the book, get me drugged up, and then it would all just go away. Like the bumping in the furniture, like when the teachers got involved and we moved me to Texas, like when I told the doctor about it in Texas and then I got moved to New Mexico, stuff like that. So now on 6/27/24, I may not come out of this alive. They might put me under, and either I'm going to wake up with my organs shredded, either I'm going to wake up and they did it right, or I'm never going to wake up again. And if something does happen to me, the only reason for it is my father's neglect and his choices. He could stop this stuff today. He could call me today, and we could start the process of fixing this today. But if it's just me doing this, meanwhile he spends money and every minute of his life trying to make sure I don't get help, trying to take evasive action and make sure nobody will help me, well, I'm going to get malpracticed over and over until my body is just shredded into pieces. So, yeah. And here's the information. Raffin is who will call me. You got some paperwork here I got to read through. Yeah, so preparations for surgery, and I'm supposed to follow all these orders. Oh, yeah, great. I just hope they do the routine biopsy without chopping me into pieces, but they haven't been too good before. I feel very safe in Boston, but I definitely don't feel safe where I'm going to be getting this done, but I don't have a choice. If I didn't have a neurological disorder, then I would have just done it with the urologist awake. I mean, but with the neurological disorder, we can't do that. So once again, I'm fucked because of this neurological disorder. Oh, I want to drive. Wait, I'm fucked because of this neurological disorder. Oh, wait, well, let's just get this done at urology. Oh, wait, I can't. Neurological disorder. Well, I want to get a job. Oh, wait, I can't. Neurological disorder. Well, I want to take a walk in the snow on sugar. Oh, wait, I can't. Neurological disorder. Well, I want to go skiing. No, I can't. Neurological disorder. We tried that. Didn't go so well. Well, I want to make a snowman. No, no, no. Well, I want to talk to that police officer over there at night with the flashing lights because he asked me a question. No, 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 can't do that. Oh, well, I want to report something out my window. No, no, I look crappy. I'm shaky. It's cold in here and the heater isn't working. There are so many times where my neurological disorder makes it so I can't do something. Now, my old was just treat it. We know Ativan helps in the benzo family. We know alcohol helps. We know triliptal helps. We know CBD helps. We know certain weeds help. And we know opiate kind of helps a little, about the same level as a CBD. So, with all that knowing, well, I used to be able to just be like, okay, I'll treat myself, go into the urologist, and we'll get it taken care of. I'll drink one nip the night before. I'll take an Ativan, and if I die, I die, but I'm awake for the treatment, so it doesn't matter. They're not going to give me any anesthesia, so I can do that. I can take an Ativan, do a nip, something like that. Now stick that motherfucker up my penis and get that biopsy already. Get that fucking picture. Yeah, I can sit still. I got an Ativan and a nip in me. Yeah, you could beat me and I can stay still. But no, I mean, that's an exaggeration. uh, I mean, I have had my family smack me around. I've had to do awful things while shaking. There's just been a lot of people pushing me to harm myself my whole life. I haven't had a day to breathe. I'm still, I mean, 25 years of this. If you're wondering how it gets this bad, it's always been pretty bad. It just, when you go 25 years without treatment for something like this, it gets super bad because you don't have documentation of your injuries. You can't use a shelter. You can't drive. The doctors suck. You need housing. I mean, just it becomes a puzzle that is impossible to solve. And the real solution to this puzzle is it's not my mess to clean up. The problem is somebody else wants to continue waking up every morning and letting the lie continue. Somebody else is making a decision to allow this to happen every day of their lives. They signed the paperwork, they made the statements with their second wife, they never told the doctors about their second wife's drinking. So all that stuff were decisions, and every single day that they decide to keep these secrets is another day I have to suffer. I'm not keeping no secrets. I'm open. I'm honest. I believe in following Jesus, asking for help, and working with the disabled and trying to help others. That is me. But is my father doing the same thing? Does he believe in working with his family and having faith in his family, following Jesus, being nice, respectful, not causing other people pain and suffering? If somebody says there is pain and suffering that they can stop, do they actually take it seriously and try to do something about it? Or do they decide it's too hard and they want to go on a vacation? After 25 years, it was always, it's too hard. Like in New Mexico, I'm telling them I want to come home. No, 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 we're having too good a time. In Maine, why did we go to Maine? Why not go straight to Chelmsford? Or why didn't we just get some two-bedroom apartment so the kid can go to school and go to the oh, my father needed to make money with housing. It's too hard. No, I come first. How else am I going to sell and buy properties? No, the kid will be fine. I'll have my wife homeschool him. Yeah, that's fine. So stuff like that enriches himself while I take a loss. While other kids were allowed to go to school, I was stuck with a mother acting crazy. While other kids were allowed to go to school and get an education, I was in New Mexico getting taught, don't stick your hand in a hole. Look at that kid with red ants on him. Hey, I'm going to use you as bait tonight. Shit like that. Or food poisoning sucks. Stuff like that were the lessons I was learning. Or stay away from the big black guy that likes to choke little girls in the shower. Stay away from him because he likes to choke me every week. So let's let him choke the other little boy that told his parents, because he told his parents beforehand and now he's getting choked out good. Then he tells his parents again and then he's getting choked out good. So for at least 6 months, that was the target for Toby because this kid kept on telling his parents. The parents would tell the owner of this. They were faking it until they're making it. It was a scam program. The program wasn't built yet, so they were scamming parents and taking the money until the program could be built. So anyways, Yeah, the parents would call the person they're paying. It's like it's like if you were sold a bad car, calling the car salesman and asking him if the car is okay. And then the car salesman goes, "No, no, no, your car runs fine. Yeah, that tire falling off, that's all you. But I just bought it an hour ago and all my tires fell off." Nope, nope, that's just you. Of course the car salesman's not gonna, you know, be like that. Well, it's the same deal here. The parents call the owner of this program who's trying to collect money so we can build it. So far, nothing is really built. All they have is a cabin for the kids. That's all we have. We have a field of rattlesnakes, a cabin, and trained, underpaid staff. They have an office that's there for the office staff, and they have another building for the parents when they do the Christmas party. But that's it. The dorms, the pools, the other buildings have not been built yet. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing but a cabin for me and a dirt field for me. That's what we get. And they have no teacher either. They couldn't get a teacher hired. The teacher that they hired 3 months later said the trip is too hard. You're not paying me enough. She tried to get more money. She dropped out. Then, like about 6 to 9 months went by, no teaching, just staff bringing us out to chop rocks and get fossils and things like that. Just extracurricular activity, play video games, go camping, chop some rocks, stuff like that. Then some baldish looking guy came in at the end and used to bring us next door where the office staff worked, and they had us put something together 1 hour a day. This little cool hot glue and some different leaves and stuff to build this model of a hut. And he would read us from a book too, and it was pretty cool. But that's it. And then after I left the program, I'm not quite sure how they got it, but there was a cool little stack of papers they gave my mother that was just some printouts of like star constellations. That was kind of cool. But that's pretty much the best of my 3 years of school at that time. Yes, I had. Oh, sorry, I redid first grade once. I had 18 months there, 6 months or so, so 2 years total of missed school through Texas and Maine. And then I actually got scammed. My father got scammed again, where we had absolutely no classes whatsoever for a year. And when I mean no classes, I mean absolutely nothing. We brought our toys in and we played on the floor until the day was over. We came in the morning, the teacher would be sitting there. They would count us, we'd break out our toys, the teacher would leave the room, we'd play with our toys. Then we would have lunch. We would go upstairs, eat our lunch, come back down, play with toys some more. Then they would let us play wiffle ball if outside if it was nice. We'd play wiffle ball, go back inside, get ready to go on the bus, go home. That was the whole year. I told my father that this was going on. I told my mother that this was going on. What do you think they did? They called the school and asked about it. The school said, "Nothing to see here, nothing to see here." The next day I go in. The teacher puts me in the front of the class, looks at all the kids and say, "You're going to sit at that chair all day. You're all going to sit in your chairs all day doing nothing. And you can thank Zach for that because Zach told them how we were all playing with toys every day. So now you guys aren't allowed. You got to sit at that desk, do nothing all day. And that's it. Zach's fault. You're going to stand in front of the class all day. You're going to stand right in front of this board." So then the teacher sat down, but she didn't hold her word. About an hour in, she left the classroom. A kid mooned her kind of like through the door, and then everybody got out of their seats and played with their toys. And I was, I went straight to my seat as soon as she left too. But anyway, so yep, that was a year of my education as well. Now, other parents cared about this when they heard about it, so they ended up taking a big deal. But remember, my parents don't care what I say. It's a fantasy. It's a lie. He's mentally ill. Don't help him at all. He doesn't need an education. He doesn't need that. No, he doesn't need any physical health care. No. He doesn't need a drive. No. Just ignore everything he's saying and make up our own fantasies. Yeah, he'll get better like that. He'll eventually drive, right? No. No. Basing somebody's health care upon a dead woman's fantasies who like to take swimming medals from a child and say he had attachment disorder and all these illnesses because she stole a swimming medal from him is completely fucked up shit. She was jealous of my goddamn toys. She would act all inappropriate all the time, and then she'd traffic me. Of course I'm not well. Of course I can't drive. Of course when I go to work I get injured. And of course the doctors are useless. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I might not be alive after the 27th, depending on how the doctors treat me during this anesthesia and going under. And really, it's due to the neurological disorder. I could have another way of doing this if that wasn't the case. But it is, and that fucking sucks. And I don't take anything for it, so I can't take any chances. If I was taking an Ativan or taking something strong enough, maybe I could do it, but I can't do it like that. I need to stay still, so I have to take a chance and go under and hope these people don't fuck me up while I'm under. And their track record is poor right now. I have a note that says I'm excused from gym class. That was a do not lift order. I have a bunch of stuff like that on paperwork. I also got 3 pharmaceutical companies that have also poisoned me too. We got Renadine I was on when it was recalled. We got Seroquel. I was on 800 milligrams for sleep with a bunch of other ones. They've done a lawsuit for that. There's money awarded for people like me for that too. There's buprenorphine with naloxone I took a couple years ago or whatever, and they sent me a letter saying they put steel shards in my medication and that they were recalled and to check my bottle number, even though they know that that was 3 4 months probably after. Nobody got their bottle. The bottle has been empty for months. Who keeps their bottle for a year? Nope, so I have no way of checking it, so I called the pharmacy and they said it matches. Okay, whatever. Well, I don't know, but we can check more into that too. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. I also was on Thorazine as a kid and my legs aren't working properly. My mother gave me an overdose and was messing with God who knows what medications from her closet. She was giving me opiates on a plane like it meant nothing. She drugged me for my adoption. She gave me some drugs on Halloween that made me sick so she could get her way. She moved me around the country, stopping any physical health care from being completed or being done, no matter how much I begged and begged for help with the physical doctors. Just my mother would bring me to psychiatrists. I would try to tell them about some of the symptoms like twitching, muscle spasms, tics. Oh, it's just side effect of the medication. Well, why has it lasted 25 years then, and when I'm not on medication, and before I was on medication, and after medication, and no matter what medication you give me, it continues. Actually, some medication like Ativan by itself will make it go away. So tell me that. Oh, I didn't get to say that because my mother chimed in and went, "It's a mental illness, I bet. I bet it's a mental illness. Oh, no, it's a side effect. Oh, he needs more meds," or something like that. My mother was all about trying to get me fucked over and fucking up my health. All about that. Now, I didn't know that as a teenager. I thought doctors were good, all of them. I thought they all knew exactly what they were talking about. I did not realize that a doctor is only as good as the information you give them. So if you give a doctor good information, you get better. But if your mother's giving the worst information possible to your doctor, you will get hurt and you will get worse. You will get worse, especially if your mother does this for 15 years, then you're screwed to hell. And that's what my mother did. She gave so much fantasy fraudulent information to doctors that yes, I am still getting hurt today. And now I have to take a chance that these doctors are just going to do a basic biopsy and basic testing without causing any damage to my body. What has their track records haven't been great, so I'm very worried. Yeah. What's this X here? Pre-registration. I guess I already registered, so I don't have to do that. Call, don't fall. Oh, that's because I've been falling probably. Yeah, that's why they added that. Surgical checklist. Oh, fantastic. Whatever. Anyways, that's my plans if I don't die before then or something doesn't happen. But it's warm weather out there, so things are going a little better as far as the, I guess, like seizures from cold. But the pain is still very troublesome in my kidneys. That's making the neurological disorder worse. And I don't care about the pain very much. I'm a very good trooper to pain. What I care about is being able to get to point A to point B. Walking, moving, talking, things like that. And if the nervous system gets too overwhelmed, then I can't talk, move, go, get there, whatever. And I still can't drive until I get better. And I need a fucking drive now. I've waited long enough. I've waited 15 fucking years. If we don't get this fixed soon, I'm just going to drive anyways, and I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Because I'm not going to be trying this for another 25 years, that's for sure. I'm gonna try this until I'm pushed off the grid. If they push me off the grid again where I have no phone, no ID, I'm living in the woods, that's it. I'll do what the fuck I want when I want, and that's it. And I'll make sure that I do this around the people that matter. Fuck getting some going on the highway. No, I'm going to use the car to go to the doctors and my family. That's it. I'm going to go right to their fucking door. If I'm going to use a car, I'm using that car for the doctors and family only. And hopefully nobody gets hurt on the way. But driving a car is out of the question in my mind because we all got to keep each other safe. And I know there is a God, so that isn't a great decision. And I don't ever think I will make that decision. I think that I can do this without having to become vindictive. But 25 years is a hell of a long time. And I've already been pushed off the grid several times, and I've already had my health worsen because of not getting medical care several times as well. Like my head injuries are because I didn't get health care in the first place. If my father would just let me get fucking health care and stop lying and believing in fantasies, then I wouldn't have had that head injury 3 years ago to begin with. But no, I have to have head injury after seizure, after head injury, after fall. And I get little to no documentation help. The emergency rooms are really bad. I had a fall slash seizure and I was sober, and some idiot from a bar poured booze on my clothing. I go unconscious. I wake up in the hospital, and nurse is asking me why I'm sober. I say, because I'm trying this new thing called sobriety. That's a stupid question. Why are you asking? Well, your clothing had booze on it. I said, yeah, because some drunk poured booze on me. Can you tell me why I'm here? What am I doing here? Well, we don't know yet. She walks away and releases me on the spot. No testing, no asking me further questions, no asking me how I fell. No. They asked me one question: why am I sober? So we know that these hospital visits aren't properly documented either. I have so many of these fucking terrible nurses just fucking not listening to the patient. All they want to read is my mother's fantasies and call my father. Great, get me killed. That's worked so well. That's worked so well for me, right? All these scars and bleeding and more injuries, and I walk so well right now, right? Like that's fucking really working, right? Go fuck yourself. It's never worked once. I get hangovers, I vomit, I shake more than ever, I can't hold a job, I still can't drive. You know when it'll be working? The day I drive, the day that I feel like I can hold my foot still long enough to use a gas pedal, that's the day that you are getting me better. Like when I got the triliptal. I started the triliptal and I was able to go up a ladder without falling or shaking. Now, I can always go up a ladder, but I get these shakes because I'm trying to use my left arm, left foot, right foot very precisely without having it go to another ring or something. And because I'm trying to do it so precisely, I get a lot of the neurological activity in my back, arms. Sometimes the ladder starts shaking a little bit, but I make it up. But since the triliptal has happened, when I'm indoors and when the pain isn't a problem, I saw a lot of improvement in that. I saw a lot of improvement in a lot of the neurological areas as long as I'm not being bombarded. Even speech, if I take 3 triliptal now, turn off all the lights, close my eyes, wait an hour and a half, my voice will go semi-normal to what it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, by the way, my voice goes very high-pitched and weird, kind of like a girly gay voice, because of this neurological disorder. When it's less painful and less present, you'll hear my voice lower a tone. And that's because I feel better. It's oh my, I'm like, oh. Sometimes you'll even hear it. Like when I used to do like a drink, I might feel the alcohol start kicking in and you'd hear me go, oh, that's better. Because I'd feel the neck and everything go a little less. But what everybody else heard was, Zach, that's a different voice. How do you do that? You have two different voices. And I'm not talking about drunk. Sometimes it just happens when I sit in the sun. I'll be in air conditioning. My voice will be very high pitched. We'll go outside, sit on a bench in the sun in 90 degrees, and all of a sudden I'm talking normal again. And people are like, oh, what the hell's going on with him? And during my whole childhood, everybody's like, well, Zach does so good during summer. And then winter, he seems horrible. He doesn't talk to people. He seems mad all the time. He seems like he's in pain or upset. Well, no, duh. I have a neurological disorder that hurts like a fucking bitch, like a taser on my back when I'm cold. So, of course, I was the only kid in Texas wearing a suede jacket outside. Fucking of course I have something wrong with my nervous system. But see, my mother's like, oh, he's crazy. He just loves to wear jackets in heat. Oh, yeah, he's just crazy. He's just crazy. He's just crazy. So we never actually do any research into actually what's going on. Instead, we just keep on drugging the shit out of me because it makes it easy for every. Oh, yeah, just drug the shit out of him. It's easy. I mean, we don't have to run any tests. We don't have to do nothing. We'll just drug the shit out of him, make up all these mental illnesses, and we can collect Social Security. It's a win win for everybody, except for Zach.